Nigeria was expected to be the fastest growing hospitality market with a projected 12% compound annual increase from 2019 to 2023. What is the situation of the hospitality industry in Nigeria as of today, particularly here in the FCT? Hello and welcome to the program Issues on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. I am Ifoma Ojinta Yoranko, and today we are looking at the hospitality industry in Abuja. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, when you hear of hospitality, what really comes to your mind? Hotel? Do you know there is more to hospitality than just hotels? This is what we shall be looking at when our guest joins us on the conversation to tell us how big the hospitality industry is in Abuja, how they are faring, and the sectors, that make up the hospitality industry. All these and more in a moment. You're welcome back. Now, our guest today is the managing partner at QMDCI Hospitality Training Institute, Abuja, an indigenous and innovative hospitality firm with a vision to bridge the professional gap in the hospitality industry. She is a seasoned tourism and hospitality professional, a master trainer certified by the Institute of Tourism Professionals of Nigeria. She is a passionate customer service trainer as well as the hospitality coach. My guest is Florence Oyelade Adedayo Tayo. You're welcome to our program.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you very much. As we said, you are the managing partner at QMDCI.
Yeah.
The viewers want to know, what is QMDCI and what is it all about?
Okay. Thank you for having me once again. I feel really honored to be here today, and I'd like to begin by saying that QMDCI is an acronym for Quick Management Drive with Complete Innovation. It's an hospitality firm, and what we do basically is human capital development in hospitality. And of course, we do hospitality consultancy as well. So that's basically, we offer a lot of courses from hospitality management to restaurant management to customer service, housekeeping operations, and a whole lot of other trainings that we offer.
Okay. Now, we know that the hospitality industry is huge.
Yes.
And it's expected to contribute, some GDP to the nation's economy. How have we fared in that regard in Nigeria?
Okay. I like to say categorically that the hospitality industry is a private sector driven industry and contributes hugely to employment. There are lots of hospitality outfits everywhere in the city of Abuja, especially because Abuja is a business of the country. A lot of people come into Abuja for business opportunities, business meetings, conferences, So a lot of people, a lot of teeming youths are employed in the hospitality industry to serve in the different departments that we have, ranging from the front office, housekeeping, and the whole lot of other departments. So I would say that hospitality industry contributes largely to the economic development of our country.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
No doubt.
And let's narrow it down to the FCT. How has the hospitality industry fared in Abuja?
Okay, the hospitality industry is thriving. I would say that it's thriving because from time to time, we have meetings, we have conferences, and as long as these conferences are held in Abuja, the hotels, especially the hotels and restaurants, get business, so it's doing well. But one of the things that I see as a challenge with the hospitality industry in Abuja is the issue of power, which is the same everywhere in the country, the issue of power. Because the hotels, especially, and restaurants spend a lot of their income in alternative source of power, it drains the revenue for the hospitality industry. So it's a huge problem, it's a challenge. And I would want to use this opportunity to say that that is one area where the government needs to do something, because it is private, it's a private business, right? The industry is private driven, right? It's not government driven. So the government needs to create an enabling environment for the industry to thrive, especially in the area of power. In the area of power, yeah.
Okay, talk to us about taxation in the hospitality
That's
industry.
another challenge, because we have multiple taxations. One of the hotels that we consulted for recently, I was privileged to be there for a few months, and a lot of, letters were sent, and then we had visits from different offices. In fact, I can't exhaust a lot of offices. They just come with their letters with, you need to pay this tax, you need to pay this bill. It's inexhaustive. It's so much, and it's a burden. It's also a major challenge that the hospitality industry is facing in Abuja. And I believe it's like that nationwide. There's this notion that we're making so much money in the industry. Guests are coming in every day, and then they just want to get their share for their various agencies or parastatals, wherever they're coming from, and there are duplications. For some of these bills, there are duplications. But again, one thing that is helping is the Hotel Owners Forum, Abuja. There's a forum where there are negotiations. I'm aware there are negotiations already, between that association, OFA, and AMAC and some other agencies to make this a lot easier.
Okay, aside these challenges and the issue of taxation and all that, are there or is there any government regulatory body, that oversees the affairs of the hospitality industry in Nigeria and in the FCT?
There is, of course, a government agency that is designated to regulate hotel operations or the hospitality industry. Because, so I like to say that the hospitality is a sector under the tourism industry. Right. So that's one thing that, the public needs to be aware of. It's an industry called tourism. And that's why I'm grateful, or we are grateful, that we have a ministry dedicated to the industry. Now we have a single Ministry of Tourism, that is, in charge of the operations that relates to the hospitality industry. But again, we have a lot of organizations, associations that are working together to see that tourism and hospitality thrive in Nigeria. But one thing I'd like to use this opportunity to say is that these organizations, of course, we know ourselves, like the ITPN, which is the awarding body for the industry. We have the FTAN, we have the ATMAN. These associations need to be more synergized so that we can achieve more for the country.
Okay. Now that you mentioned the Ministry of Tourism, and you're excited that at least we now have a ministry, dedicated solely for the tourism sector, what are your expectations?
Yes, already I'm excited because there was this conference that was held just a few weeks ago, International Hospitality and Tourism Forum. It's an annual event, and the minister was there. And I can see already that she's collaborating and working with, stakeholders to see that there's development in the industry, and there are a lot of training also going on across the country to develop skills in, practitioners. So that's one thing I'm excited about. But I also hope that the ministry will come up with a system or a structure that will help in standardization of hospitality establishments. And
Okay.
by that, I mean hotels, restaurants. We need to have strong regulations that will, make us stand out in the world, because our industry is an international industry. We have people come from different part of the world to Abuja. We cannot afford to do our operations, especially in the hotels and restaurants, just locally. So one of the things I look forward to is standardization of operations in the hotel.
Okay.
So for instance, the industry is private driven, right? Anybody can invest and have an hotel, but there should be some regulations, for instance, like the general manager of an hotel or people in key management positions should and must be professionals. That way, we'll be able to get it right and be able to ensure guest satisfaction. Because whatever we're talking about hospitality, everything about hospitality is ensuring that the guest is satisfied.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to all that, but I just wanted to clear something. When we hear of hospitality, what readily comes to our mind are hotels.
Yeah.
And you've been talking, you're particular about hotels and all that.
Okay.
Is it hotels that is all about the hospitality industry, or are there other sectors?
Okay, so thank you very much for that question. There's this notion about, hospitality. When people hear hospitality is hotel, that's because hotels, carry like the largest share in the world of hospitality.
Okay.
But of course, there are other sectors, there are other parts, or there are other aspects of hospitality. For instance, event management is a major part of hospitality. So everyone that is in the world of hotel event planning and management is in hospitality. And please permit me to say that for me as a person and as a professional, I like to say that hospitality is in every sector.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in every sector. For instance, I come into your station, I feel the warmth and I feel the welcome. I get the smiles. That's hospitality. So for me, everything that hospitality as an industry stands for is required for any other sector of the economy to thrive. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So hospitality is broad. Yes, it's majorly about ensuring that guest needs are met, and of course even exceeded, because that's one of the things that we try to instill in people. You don't just stop at the point of meeting the needs of your guests. You want to do something extra so that they keep coming, and then you keep getting business. Now, it's not just about the hotel. We talk about other accommodation, like we have the motels, we have the Airbnb, we have other places like apartments, which are all scattered around the city of Abuja, right? So there are lots of other aspects of hospitality. And of course, like I said, events, conferences,
and event
meetings.
centers.
So everyone who is in the world of catering for people, ensuring they're fine, is in the hospitality industry. So the restaurants, no matter how small or how big, they're in the space of the hospitality industry.
Okay. Now, with all these arms or sectors, no matter how small or big, what is the synergy like?
We have, of course, different associations, and, like you can have, I believe that we have people who are in the event management, there's an association, we have people who are in the hotel. So for me, one of the things, of course, with this question is for me to use it as an opportunity to say, one of the things that the part of what the ministry can do is to see that there's a synergy between all these aspects of the hospitality industry. And like I said before, hospitality industry does not just stand alone. It is a sector in the tourism industry.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a break at this point. You're watching Issues on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, and today we are looking at the hospitality industry in Abuja. I just say the conversation continues shortly. Thank you very much for staying tuned. And still with me in the studio discussing the hospitality industry in Abuja is the managing partner at QMDCI. She is Florence Oyelade Adedayo Tayo. Hope I got that right.
Yes.
All right. Now, the hospitality industry is evolving globally. We know all that. Tell us about human capital development in that sector.
But, thank you very much for that question. This is one area that we're very passionate about at QMDCI because one of the things that we see is that people invest a lot in non-human resources. So, for instance, someone sets up a hotel and import all the facilities and equipment, and then at the point of engaging human resources, they just go and get just any kind of person who is not even trained or who is not a professional to, do the service. So this is one challenge that we have in the hospitality industry. And as a hospitality company, that is one of our mandate. That is our major passion to see that the industry is flooded with trained personnel. And I like to say that it's very sad, and hotel owners or restaurant owners or hospitality operators need to be more deliberate about the quality of human resources that they engage. Because you cannot be talking about return on investment when you do not have excellent service. And the human resources are the ones that will give the excellent service. So it's important that we invest in human resource development through training and retraining.
Okay.
We have a lot of institutes in Abuja that is into training, but QMDC, I can say categorically, we've trained quite a lot of personnel who are serving, who are working in different hotels, and that difference is there because professionalism is key. And please permit me to say that one thing that is missing, in our world today is integrity. One of the things hospitality stands for is integrity. One of the qualities of a professional in hospitality is integrity. So anyone who must strive or who wants to work or who is working in the space of hospitality must have integrity. So this is one thing that we instill or we emphasize in our institute to see that of course you don't want to have your guests keep their stuff and then there's no report of somebody comes. There was an incident in Lagos where some money was found and then the guest requested, and of course one of the staff found it and reported. And of course, she was even rewarded. It was on the news. So those are the kind of things that we actually stand for in the industry. And we expect that, more of those kind of people are allowed to be in the space of hospitality. So we cannot overemphasize the importance of training and retraining. And I would want to encourage every hotel owner, every restaurant owner, every hospitality investor to actually invest in human resource development, because that's the only way that they can get good return on their investment.
Okay, you talked about a hotel in Lagos where money was found and returned and all that. We've also had instances where people just keep their luggages in a hotel, go out and come back, and they come back, they find their items or money missing. What's your take on that? And what are the regulatory agencies doing, about such?
Okay, so that's why I said earlier that a lot of people just invest in the hospitality industry. They have no idea the right kind of people to put in the different management positions. So anything can just happen because in an ideal environment, I don't want to call names of hotel now, but there are some hotels that you can be sure that if you keep your stuff, you will come back after 1 year or whatever duration, you will find it because there is standard. Okay. So I would say that the ministry, of course, has the major role to play to now have, of course, in the ministry, I want to believe that there will be departments
Okay.
department. So if there's no department that is designated for standardization for hotels, I would also recommend that a department be set up to regulate operations in the hotels.
Okay.
That way we can have, we can be sure of the standard of operations in our hotels. Of course, hotels have standard operating procedures, which are SOPs. But a lot of the times, hotels are just set up and start off without these SOPs because investors are not careful to want to invest in proper training and engaging professionals. So this is the challenge that we have.
I just want to ask you, what makes a hotel standard?
Yes, what makes it standard is when the hotel is operating by the standards. There are stated standards.
Okay.
There are international standards, international standard operating procedures. Right. So what makes an hotel standard is where the hotel is operating by those international standards.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about the services QMDCI, offer. When you're into training of human resources and all that, does this also have to do with training on security and all that?
Yes, we do all trainings that relates to the hotel. So we engage where we have to do, for instance, fire training, safety and all that. We engage the fire service. So we have all these collaborations. First, we have collaboration with the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism. We're certified by the Institute for Tourism Professionals of Nigeria. And of course, we're working on a collaboration with the MBTE, that's the government body in charge of polytechnics. So we are a standard organization that is, geared towards ensuring that human resource development is improved in hospitality, especially in Abuja and of course the country. Our services are not limited to this place. We just had, a training far away in Yola some few weeks ago. So it's not limited to Abuja.
Okay, so yes. How would residents of Abuja and probably stakeholders help to make your job easier at QMDCI?
All right, so there's no way that we can do this all by ourselves. We cannot ensure that hotels keep to standard just by our training. So we need the Ministry for Tourism, we need National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, we need Institute for Tourism Professionals of Nigeria. We need all these bodies to come together to bring up a very strong structure or system that will enforce hospitality outfits to operate by the international standards, right? That way, they would require, of course, they will now require our services to do trainings and retrainings for their personnel. And I would say that it is a waste of investment for anyone to invest in hospitality and not invest in human capital.
Okay. So on the final note, what will give you joy or what will make you happy in the course, of carrying out the mandate of QMDCI?
Our major goal or vision is to see that professionalism is achieved in the hospitality industry. And of course, I know that that can happen overnight. So one thing that will give us that fulfillment in our institute is to see that hotels, restaurants, and all hospitality outfits in Abuja and in Nigeria as a whole subscribe to our various trainings, both live and online, which we're already working on launching very soon. So from any part of the world, in fact, you can subscribe to our trainings.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it's been a pleasure, talking with you, the managing partner at QMDCI, Florence Oyelade Adedayo Tayo. Thank you so much for sparing your time with us.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. That's it on the hospitality industry in Abuja for this week. Let's do this again same time next week. Till then, I remain Ifoma Ojinta.